We once tried to nuke the moon. History that hits harder than fiction. Let's go. Have you ever heard about that one time in 1958 that the US decided to nuke the moon? No? Me neither. To understand why, you have to understand the space race panic of the 50s and 60s. It's the height of the Cold War, and the Soviets had just launched Sputnik, the first artificial Earth satellite into space. Russia was doing a pretty good job at making the US look weak in the space race arena. Unfortunately for the US, public opinion wasn't looking too good. The United States government needed a win, not a scientific win, a psychological win. They needed a flex so massive that no one on Earth could ignore it. They didn't want to just explore space, they wanted to conquer it. Enter Project A119. The plan was simple and terrifying. Launch a ballistic missile carrying a nuclear warhead 238,000 miles into space. The target was what is referred to as the Terminator line, border between day and night on the moon. Why there? Because the explosion would be lit up by the sun against a dark background. Their goal was visibility. Wig, bada, boom. The Air Force wanted the mushroom cloud to be visible to the naked eye from Earth. They wanted you to look out your bedroom window and see a glowing impact crater on the face of the moon. In order to make this a reality, they couldn't just guess and send a rocket up there all willy-nilly. They had to do a massive amount of math. So the Armor Research Foundation hired a 24-year-old grad student. His name was Carl Sagan. Ever heard of him? Before he was the peace-loving host of PBS's Cosmos, young Carl was doing calculations on how dust would expand in low gravity. While doing his research, Sagan realized something crucial. There is no atmosphere on the moon, so you wouldn't get a mushroom cloud. You would get a rapidly expanding sphere of radioactive dust. A glowing bubble of bad news. And here's the scariest part. The US wasn't the only one thinking about nuking the moon. We later found out the Soviets had their own version, called Project E4. There was a race to see who could blow up the moon first. The Soviets actually planned to execute their blast on November 7th to celebrate the anniversary of the Bolshevik Revolution. So for a few terrifying months in 1958, the moon was essentially in the crosshairs of two superpowers. Thankfully, we still have a moon. So what happened? Two things. First and foremost, danger. Danger, Will Robinson, because obviously, the Air Force realized that if the rocket failed during launch, it wouldn't hit the moon. Instead, it would drop a live nuclear weapon on top of Florida. And that's a bad PR move. And a bad day for everybody. Second, science. We realized that radiating the moon would absolutely ruin it for future colonization. So, they canceled the project in 1945. Instead of sending a bomb, 10 years later, we sent Neil Armstrong. Did we make the right choice? Who knows? Probably. Project A119 remains one of the wildest what-ifs in history. We chose one small step for man, but we were inches away from choosing one giant explosion. For more history that hits harder than fiction, follow the Oddities Department podcast anywhere you get your podcasts.